Hello, esteemed gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. The most dangerous opponent is the one who fights in silence, testing your every move without ever lifting a sword. Sigma males are the living embodiment of this truth. They don't test you with grand gestures or obvious mind games. Instead, they operate in the shadows, challenging you in ways you may not even notice until it's too late. Did you know that research suggests people with a more introspective and independent mindset are harder to predict and influence? That's the Sigma male in a nutshell. Unpredictable, unrelenting, and frankly, a little maddening. But here's the kicker. When a Sigma male tests you, it's not to dominate you or prove a point. It's a quiet, calculated effort to assess your strength, authenticity, and whether you're even worth their energy. So if you've been feeling like someone in your life is playing a high-stakes game of emotional chess, while you're still figuring out how the pieces move, chances are you're in the crosshairs of a Sigma male's scrutiny. Stay sharp because these tests aren't obvious. And let's be real. Failing them might not just cost you their respect, it might cost you your sanity. Number 1. He dissects your convictions without warning. A Sigma male will challenge your beliefs in ways that feel startlingly personal, but it's never random. He's not doing it to argue, embarrass, or prove he's smarter. Instead, he's dissecting your convictions to understand the core of who you are. To him, your beliefs, whether about life, relationships, or even trivial matters, are like a map to your inner world. He wants to see if your thoughts are genuinely yours or just borrowed from someone else. This isn't a casual debate. He'll ask questions that make you pause, sometimes even question yourself. It could be something as straightforward as, "Why do you believe that?" or as piercing as, "Does that belief serve you, or are you clinging to it because it's safe?" These aren't small talk questions. They're designed to peel back the layers of your reasoning. He's not impressed by surface-level answers, nor is he swayed by emotional pleas. He's searching for depth, logic, and authenticity. The test isn't just in how you defend your views, it's in whether you're willing to confront your own blind spots. If you double down on shaky reasoning or crumble under his probing, it tells him you're not as self-assured as you seem. On the other hand, if you hold your ground with thoughtfulness or even admit, "I've never thought about it that way," he'll respect your openness. This isn't about proving you wrong. It's about testing if you know yourself well enough to handle being questioned. To the Sigma male, a person who can't examine their beliefs is a person who isn't fully in control of their own mind. And if you're not in control of your mind, why would he trust you to hold your ground in a world full of chaos? Number 2, he pushes you into situations where you're uncomfortable. A Sigma male has an uncanny way of nudging you into the deep end without ever announcing his intentions. He won't say, "I'm testing you," or set up an obvious challenge. Instead, he'll subtly maneuver situations so that you're placed well outside your comfort zone. This isn't done out of malice or for amusement. It's his way of assessing your adaptability, resourcefulness, and how you handle pressure when the stakes are real. It might be as subtle as inviting you to a gathering where you don't know anyone and leaving you to navigate the social dynamics on your own. Or it could be something more intense, like throwing you into an unexpected high-stakes discussion where you have to think on your feet. He's watching closely, not just to see if you survive the moment, but how you do it. Are you calm, composed, and confident? Or do you panic and crumble under the weight of the unexpected? For the Sigma, adaptability is a non-negotiable trait. Life, in his eyes, is unpredictable and chaotic, and he values people who can flow with its twists and turns without losing their center. If you can handle these situations with grace and confidence, you'll earn his respect. If not, he'll quietly take note of your limits. This test isn't about winning or being perfect, it's about showing resilience. The Sigma doesn't expect you to dominate every situation, but he does expect you to face challenges head-on without retreating into excuses or blame. At the end of the day, your reaction to discomfort says more about you than any polished words ever could, and for a Sigma male, actions always speak louder than promises. Number 3, he disappears to gauge your reaction. When a Sigma male disappears, it's not random or impulsive, it's deliberate. This so-called Sigma fade is one of his most subtle yet telling tests. He doesn't vanish to ghost you or play mind games for amusement. He's stepping back to observe how you handle his absence. Are you grounded and secure enough to keep your balance without him? Or does his withdrawal leave you shaken and desperate for answers? The Sigma male values independence above all else, and that extends to the people he lets into his life. If his sudden absence sends you spiraling, endlessly calling, texting, or overanalyzing the situation, it signals to him that you're emotionally dependent. He isn't looking for someone who clings to him for validation or stability. He's looking for someone who stands as firmly on their own as he does. During these periods of silence, he's not ignoring you. He's watching, albeit from a distance, and taking mental notes. How do you respond? Do you keep living your life, respecting his space, or do you start questioning your worth and overcompensating to win him back? The Sigma sees your reaction as a mirror of your inner strength, or lack thereof. If you handle his absence with grace, confidence, and patience, he'll likely reappear with a renewed sense of respect for you. But if you fall into a cycle of overthinking or emotional dependency, he'll take it as a sign that you're not aligned with the self-reliance he values. The Sigma fade is less about testing you for fun and more about ensuring compatibility. For him, relationships aren't about filling voids. They're about two whole, independent individuals choosing to walk their paths together without losing themselves in the process. Number 4. He remains unmoved by your emotional outbursts. When faced with emotional outbursts, a Sigma male doesn't flinch. He won't rush to comfort you, argue back, or lose his composure. Instead, he steps into observation mode, analyzing every word, action, and expression with unnerving calm. This isn't indifference, it's intentional. He's not ignoring your emotions. He's dissecting them to determine whether they're real or being used as leverage. For a Sigma male, emotional manipulation is an immediate red flag. If he senses that your outburst is a tactic to control, guilt, or influence him, he'll shut down emotionally. To him, such behavior signals immaturity or insecurity, and he has no interest in being pulled into someone else's emotional games. On the flip side, genuine vulnerability doesn't go unnoticed. If your emotions are sincere and come from a place of authenticity, he may not react outwardly, but he will acknowledge and respect your honesty. What makes this dynamic particularly challenging is that most people expect some kind of reaction, reassurance, sympathy, or even anger. But the Sigma gives none of that. His lack of response isn't meant to punish you. It's his way of creating space to understand what's really happening. He's testing not only your emotional authenticity, but also how you handle his unshakable demeanor. If your emotions are genuine and you don't rely on his reaction to validate them, he'll recognize your emotional strength. But if you escalate or crumble when he doesn't respond as expected, it reinforces his belief that you're seeking control, not connection. To the Sigma, self-mastery is everything. If you can't manage your emotions without demanding his involvement, he'll see it as a sign that the relationship lacks balance. Number 5. He observes how you treat others when you think no one's watching. A Sigma male watches more than just how you interact with him. He pays close attention to how you treat those who exist outside your personal priorities. It could be the waiter who serves your dinner, the janitor who cleans the office, or even someone asking for directions on the street. To the Sigma, these moments are windows into your true character, the side of you that emerges when there's no perceived benefit to be gained. He knows that kindness, when it's convenient, is easy, even performative. What matters to him is how you behave when the stakes are low, when no one's watching, and when the person in front of you can't offer anything in return. Are you polite, patient, and considerate? Or do you dismiss, belittle, or ignore them? These interactions speak louder than anything you could say about yourself. Sigma males value authenticity and consistency. They don't care for people who act one way with the powerful and another way with the powerless. If he catches even a whiff of arrogance or entitlement, like snapping at a barista or rolling your eyes at someone struggling, he won't confront you outright. He'll simply take a mental note and quietly reevaluate whether you're someone he wants in his life. This isn't about testing for perfection, but about identifying genuine respect for others. To a Sigma male, how you treat people who seem insignificant reveals how you'd treat him if you no longer needed him. It's not just a moral judgment. It's a practical assessment of whether you embody the balance and integrity he values. And if you fail this silent test, chances are he'll remove himself from your world without a word. Number 6. He throws intellectual curveballs. When you're talking with a Sigma male, don't expect the conversation to stay in safe or predictable territory. He's likely to veer off the beaten path with an abstract idea, a philosophical musing, or a question that feels more like a mental puzzle than casual chatter. This isn't about showing off his intellect or confusing you. It's his way of gauging your ability to think critically, adapt, and explore ideas beyond surface-level norms. He might ask, "Do you think free will truly exists, or are we all just products of circumstance?" Or perhaps he'll propose an unexpected scenario, like, "If society started over tomorrow, what's the first law you'd implement?" The topics can seem random, but they're deliberate. They're not just designed to test your knowledge, but to see how you process, reason, and engage with complex or unconventional thoughts. For the Sigma, your willingness to dive into these topics is more important than having the right answer. He respects curiosity, open-mindedness, and the ability to navigate abstract concepts without immediately dismissing them as irrelevant or uncomfortable. A response like, "I've never thought about that, but here's my take," will earn far more respect than pretending to know or shutting the conversation down. At the same time, he's attuned to how you handle disagreements or unfamiliar territory. If you become defensive, dismissive, or visibly uncomfortable, it tells him you're not ready to step outside your intellectual comfort zone. But if you can meet him in this abstract space, even challenge his ideas with your own insights, you'll catch his attention. To the Sigma, conversations are more than just words. They're mental sparring matches, and he's looking for someone who can keep up. If you can handle the curveballs, he knows you're capable of engaging with life's bigger questions. Number 7. He watches your reaction to criticism. When a Sigma male offers criticism, it's rarely sugar-coated. He doesn't dress it up to spare your feelings or dilute it to avoid conflict. His feedback is direct, sometimes blunt, but always intentional. He's not trying to tear you down or assert dominance. Instead, he's testing your emotional maturity and ability to handle discomfort. Your reaction to criticism tells him far more than your words ever could. Do you listen with an open mind, considering his perspective, or does your ego kick into overdrive, rushing to defend itself? The Sigma values people who can set pride aside, acknowledge areas for growth, and engage in meaningful self-reflection. To him, this shows confidence and a willingness to evolve, two traits he deeply respects. At the same time, he's acutely aware of those who take criticism personally or lash out in response. If your defenses go up or if you retaliate with anger or deflection, it signals emotional fragility. To the Sigma, this is a red flag. He has no interest in walking on eggshells or dealing with someone who can't handle honest feedback. However, this isn't about agreeing with everything he says. In fact, he appreciates pushback, as long as it's thoughtful and grounded in reason. If you can calmly explain your perspective or even challenge his critique with evidence or insight, he'll see you as someone who's both self-assured and intellectually capable. Ultimately, the Sigma's criticism isn't just about the specific issue at hand. It's a tool to measure your self-awareness, composure, and willingness to grow. If you pass this test, you earn his respect. If you don't, he'll likely view you as someone who isn't equipped to handle the kind of honesty and depth he values in his relationships. Number 8. He balances attention and detachment like a tightrope walker. A Sigma male's approach to attention is calculated and deliberate, almost like walking a tightrope between connection and distance. He knows exactly how much attention to give you to spark your interest, drawing you into his world with just the right amount of intrigue. But then, just as you start to feel a rhythm, he pulls back, abruptly, but not without purpose. This isn't about playing mind games or keeping you guessing for the sake of control. For the Sigma, it's a test to see if you can maintain your individuality and sense of self without becoming overly reliant on his presence. He values independence deeply, both in himself and in others. If his sudden detachment leaves you scrambling for validation, it's a sign to him that you might be too dependent on external affirmation. On the flip side, if you can hold your ground, continuing to live your life without chasing him for attention or clarity, he takes notice. To the Sigma, this demonstrates emotional resilience and self-assurance, qualities he admires and seeks in those he lets into his life. It's a delicate balance. Too much attention can make you complacent or overly reliant, and too little might drive you away. But for the Sigma, this dance isn't about manipulation, it's about alignment. He's testing whether you can handle his ebb and flow, whether you have enough self-sufficiency to thrive in the space he gives, and enough confidence to not crumble in the space he takes away. To him, relationships should enhance, not complete, one's sense of self. If you can navigate the space between his attention and detachment with ease, you'll earn not just his interest, but his respect as someone who truly understands the value of independence. Number 9, he observes whether you're chasing validation. Sigma males have an uncanny ability to spot insecurity from a mile away. They're finely tuned to the subtle cues that signal when someone is desperate for validation or approval, whether it's in the way you speak, act, or even your body language. If you find yourself constantly trying to impress him or fishing for compliments, he'll notice. And it won't make him more interested, it'll only push him further away. For a Sigma, true attraction lies in authenticity. He's not looking for someone who wears a mask or seeks constant reassurance. If you're overly focused on winning his approval, he'll sense the imbalance. It's a sign that you're not fully comfortable in your own skin, that you rely on external validation to feel whole. To the Sigma male, that's a red flag. He doesn't need validation from others to know his worth, and he expects the same from the people he lets into his life. This isn't to say he's indifferent to your emotions or actions, far from it. He values people who are self-aware, confident in their decisions, and comfortable with who they are. If you're able to be unapologetically yourself, without constantly needing him to affirm your choices or actions, he'll find that level of self-assuredness magnetic. It shows maturity, emotional stability, and a sense of inner strength, all qualities that the Sigma male deeply respects. On the other hand, if you spend too much time seeking his approval or trying to impress him with grand gestures, he'll quietly withdraw. To him, chasing validation isn't just unattractive. It's a sign that you're not yet secure enough in your own worth to stand on your own. And that's a deal breaker for someone who thrives on independence and authenticity. Number 10. He uses silence as a weapon. Silence is a powerful tool for a Sigma male, and he knows exactly how to wield it. In moments when you expect him to speak, react, or engage, he will deliberately withdraw into silence, observing you without saying a word. It's not a form of punishment. It's a test. He's gauging your emotional resilience and your ability to stand firm without relying on him for reassurance. When the Sigma goes quiet, he isn't interested in playing games or causing frustration. He's more interested in how you handle the void. Do you scramble to get his attention, text him repeatedly, or make excuses for why he's silent? Or do you maintain your composure, continuing with your life, secure in the knowledge that his silence doesn't define your worth? Your reaction to his silence speaks volumes about your emotional maturity. If you respond by clinging to him for validation, it shows that you're not yet comfortable in your own independence. But if you can hold your ground, continue your activities, and let the silence pass without drama, he'll respect your emotional strength. To the Sigma, a person who needs constant communication or reassurance isn't a partner, just someone looking for validation to fill a void. Silence for him is a tool for testing autonomy and self-assurance. If you can remain unaffected, unshaken by his quiet moments, it shows that you are self-sufficient, emotionally balanced, and capable of thriving without constant external input. That is the kind of person a Sigma male respects and values, and it's why he uses silence not as a punishment, but as a subtle indicator of how much you truly rely on yourself. Navigating the world of a Sigma male is no simple feat. It's not about playing games or mind tricks. It's about discovering whether you have the emotional strength, independence, and authenticity to align with his unspoken values. From his quiet observation of how you treat others to his use of silence as a tool, every action and reaction is part of a larger test, a test that reveals more about you than you might realize. The Sigma male isn't interested in controlling or manipulating. He's simply measuring your capacity to stand strong on your own, to evolve with grace, and to engage in a relationship as equals, not as dependents. If you can navigate his subtle tests, maintain your sense of self without seeking his validation, and thrive in the balance between his presence and detachment, you'll find yourself earning his respect and admiration. But if you falter, if you show cracks in your emotional resilience, he will retreat, knowing that authenticity and independence are non-negotiable. In the end, the Sigma male doesn't need anyone, but he does want someone who can match his energy, challenge his mind, and walk beside him without losing their own path. To earn his trust is to earn something rare, an unspoken connection grounded in respect, self-sufficiency, and an unyielding commitment to personal growth. If you found these insights intriguing and eye-opening, don't miss out on more content that uncovers the complexities of human behavior and relationships. The world of the Sigma male is just the tip of the iceberg, and there's so much more to explore. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, so you're always in the loop with the latest discussions and in-depth analyses that help you understand not only the Sigma male, but people in general, better. Join the conversation, because the more you know, the more you grow. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. Your next big revelation could be just around the corner.